This is our first live class, and I'm super excited to have each and every one of you here. By the way, I am going to be, before we start, we're not going to waste time because we really want to keep to time. Oh, Zambia, this is 7 p.m. Welcome, Shilembo. Thank you so much. I actually want to get used to people's names. I don't want to, when we are in the course, I'm just seeing a person's name for the first time. So I am excited to see everyone. Okay, Nigeria says it's 6. US says it's 1 p.m. Oh, Chinenye, we're in different time zones actually. So it's some places in the US it's 1 p.m. while in my place it's 12 p.m. Cameroon is 6 p.m. Liberia is 5 p.m. Zambia is 7 p.m. It's so beautiful to see that we're all in different countries, continents, and the time zones are different. And yet you still made that time to be here. We're very grateful for that. So we're going to start up right away. Like I said, we're having our first live section. Guys, I'm super excited. I remember the first time I saw Afolabi, Olabisi. I think she was doing a program on a news show. That was the first time I came across her video, and I was really impressed. I'm like, who is this lady that is so keen on child safety? And I went to check her out on LinkedIn, and since then I've been captivated by her work and everything she's doing. So I'm very excited to see how much you're going to be learning today. Today, I am sitting to learn, and I have my notes pad ready to write and, put things down. Few things I want us to note is, please, soon after every live class, you're supposed to go to the live section board, and there is a comment section on the live section board in the website. Please ensure you drop the lessons and everything you get from the lesson on that board, right? Please go to the live class board and drop your lessons on the live class board before you go over to module 4. Thank you very much. I am going to ensure that I highlight that again on the board. So if you've continued with module 4 and you have not commented after this live class, please go back and make your comment. Okay, since I have said that, I am going to be sharing my screen, I believe. A different window. Cool. Okay. So, like I said, I already acknowledged everyone that I can see here. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Trying to see if there's anyone that is here that I haven't commented on. Cameroon, I see Moya. I see Onyinyechi. She's joining from Nigeria. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So, a few announcements. Soon after this live class, you can start your concept note assignment. I know some people already started the assignment, but please, if you haven't started, go through the concept note assignment. And we have moved the submission date to 29th of March. So we have moved that assignment section below. You're going to see it right after module 4. So after module 4, you will see where you can submit your concept notes. If you've submitted already, no problem. Your assignment is still in the submitted section. But if you've not submitted, look at the concept notes, start working on it, and after module 4, you can submit it. I'm going to make this announcement at the end of this live class again so that everyone takes note. Continue your modules, and then, very important, please change your name to the name you want to appear on your certificate. I see some of you are using funny names like AI, BI, things like that. Unless you want AI and BI to appear on your certificate, please ensure that you use the name you want to appear on your certificate to do that. I'm going to show and tell you how to change your name on the platform. If you go to your profile, you're going to see settings. Go to the profile section. You're going to see settings on your dashboard. Settings on your dashboard. Click on settings. You will see where you can change your name. We're going to send a video on the WhatsApp platform so that everyone can see how that is done. I sent that during the week, but we're going to send it again. Please change your name on the platform so that it appears that way on your certificate. We're going to send a message privately to almost everyone if you've not changed your name. But please, if you are seeing this video now, ensure you do that. I think that's it for now. And I also wanted to make an announcement, even though it's a conversation we're still having. But we actually have awards and prize money awards for people that complete this program. It's not everyone, but we're going to have a draw. Please the essence of this program, as much as we are trying to encourage you to finish up your program, we also want you to be self-motivated to finish your program. So we're going to have awards, financial awards for people that end this program, and that is going to serve as a startup fee for them to start up their own outreach or programs in their communities. Not just that we're dashing you money to enjoy. Most of it we expect you to use to do an outreach in your program. That's just a heads up. So only those that attend our live program that are going to hear that information, and maybe those that rewatch the video. But you obviously have to do that. So please spread this news to other people that are not here. We are going to be giving an award, financial award, to people that complete this program, or rather a few people that complete this program. We're going to do a draw. So, and finish up so that you are going to be part of those that will be part of that draw. In saying that, I am going to talk about our speaker very shortly. So Olabisi Afolabi is a seasoned lawyer with nearly a decade experience in social development, focusing on safeguarding and child protection. She has worked across various sectors, providing consultancy in system strengthening, training, risk assessment and investigation, program coordination, and content development. Her mission is to educate stakeholders and the public about child's rights and protection. She has collaborated with numerous national and international organizations, including UNICEF, Save the Children International, and the Lagos state government. She's dedicated to teaching children about their rights and important positive values. She has contributed to Safeville Family Comics, mentored the Safeville Children's Parliament, and coached the Safeville Club as well. Her work has been recognized in prominent newspapers, TV stations in Nigeria. She's also a faculty member at the Taiwo Akilami Safeguarding and Child Protection Academy and the Peace Shapers Organization, where she serves on the board of various nonprofits in Nigeria. People, if you are very attentive when I mentioned this, I told you guys earlier that I met her, rather I saw her first video when she was talking about child safety in schools on a news network, and I was really captivated by the words she used, and I looked out for who she was. And when we're talking about teaching on child body safety, being great advocates of child body safety, I didn't think of any other person, but her name was the first name that came to mind. If you will give some congratulatory and some rainbows and everything, I will be handing over this call to Afolabi Olabisi. Please put your hands together and, cheer her, put some celebrations in the comment section.
Oh my God.
Please put some celebrations in the comment section, guys. If you're not doing, she will not take over. I want to see people celebrating this woman that has invested her life, her work in helping children. Thank you so much. Afolabi, you have the floor.
All right, everyone. Oh, so great to be here. I feel celebrated.
Do you mind we see your face?
Oh, my video is on. You can't see my face.
No, we can.
Oh my. Let me put it on. It has been on since I've been smiling. Is it on now? Can you see me now?
Really? Can you all see, or is it just me?
Oh wow.
No, we can see.
Oh yeah. Maybe put it off and put it on again.
Okay, let me go ahead.
Thank you. Oh, everyone is excited to have you, and we are excited to have you. Oh, cool. So while she's trying to set that up, we're going to share her presentation slide as well, and she will be here. So I am going to also. Oh, great.
We can't see you. We can't see you.
Good. Absolutely, we can see you now.
Okay. Amazing. Okay, let me just share my screen. I must say that it's really a good pleasure to be here today. Thank you, everyone. I want to share my screen quick. Am I sharing already? I don't think so. Okay, so let me do that now.
I think we stopped seeing you as well, but if that's going to be a problem, that's fine. We will just want the presentation can be shared, and that's okay.
Oh, definitely. Can you see the presentation now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about me? Can you see this?
Yeah, you can put it on slide share so it's bigger and everyone can see it. Let me. Yeah. So just click on slideshow.
Oh, well, I'm doing that. Okay, just a second, everyone.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to start as I try to share my screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to start by just sharing how I got into this space. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I went to law school. Some people have wondered if I really went to law school. And also, if you check, Chidim, do you can check on your side? I would really appreciate that, just so I could flow properly.
Okay, you mean the presentation?
Yes,
okay,
that's
cool.
possible.
No problem.
Okay.
I will do that. Just keep explaining.
So
I will share that.
yeah, I'll just continue my story. Okay, can everybody see me now?
No,
Just scroll.
we can't
there
see
are
you
two.
anymore.
What's going on? That's interesting. I can see myself. Okay, what about now? You just scroll to the side. I have two. I joined here with two devices. Can anyone see me now? Wow.
Okay, let's see if we can see you on the other device.
I'm here. Oh my lord. Okay.
Don't worry. Let me find
All
you on
right.
the other device.
Okay. Please do find me.
Which one is the video on? The first device or the second one?
The second one, I believe, or both.
The one you're
Olabisi
talking
energy.
from?
Yes, I'm talking from. Yes.
We can't see you. It's pinned to the
Okay.
screen, but we can't see you on that one.
Okay, but you can. All right. So I think it's fine. So let's just we go on, and we don't waste time.
Yes, please.
Okay. So as I was saying, why I came into this space as a lawyer, and I want to share the story in line with the purpose of our conversation today, and why it's important for us to talk about these issues around child safety, child body safety, and rights. Right. I mean, it's just a small part of the um, child protection conversation and how to protect children from social abuse. So I was working in the Ministry of Justice many years ago as a copper. Okay, so let's I want you guys to see me too, please. I mean, my video was on earlier and it's been on since. Let me just Chidinma, let's try once again, please, just to get the video to show.
Sorry?
So let's try one more time. Somebody said we want to see you, please. Let's try one more time to ensure that
Okay,
everybody
cool.
sees me.
So how do we do it? I'm just wondering how we can do that. So you can go off and come in again. Let's just give her some time to do that while I try to open the presentation here.
Now, can we see me now? Or still not yet?
Not yet.
You know what? Let's put on the here. Okay. What about now? This one is not so clear. The other video, can you see me now?
No, I'm trying to wonder why that is happening. We can't see you on any
let
of
me try
them.
to pin. Can you see me now?
So I'm trying to pin one. This is the one that is pinned now. We can't still see you on that one.
Okay, so I'm on the one that is I'm showing the one that's not speaking now. Okay, so
okay.
Now I can see you. You have a brown top.
Oh yes.
Oh, now you
yes.
pin her. Then you pin her.
I changed
That's
the.
on my
Okay.
okay. So that's on my laptop. Sorry that's not so clear. I was going to use my phone, which has a clear camera.
Oh,
But I mean,
great.
you have to see me
Bravo.
somehow. Not see me
Glad we
at
can
all.
see you.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying, I need to rush this up now. That's of time. As I was saying, so I worked at the Ministry of Justice for non-Nigerians. When you serve, when you do your NYSC, there's something that we call the National Youth Service Corps, and it's a place where you go learn for 1 year after you have gone to the university, right? So I went to a state called Delta State in Nigeria, Warri Delta State, and I was serving in the Ministry of Justice. And one day, I went to the office like every other day, and a young lady was brought to the office. Guess what? She had been molested, and as a safeguarding housekeeping, if you have maybe some triggers, maybe stories can tend to trigger you somehow, please feel free. If story is too much for you, let me know. I step up for a bit. That's totally fine, right? So I'm sharing this. We're going to be a little bit gory, but the goal is not to scare you, just to share why I came to this field. So as a lawyer, you go to court, and what we do in Ministry of Justice is that we say this guy is in quotes the bad guy. Make sure you take him to jail. Right? That was our role. We are the prosecutors, as it's being called. So we were doing that, and oh, thank you so much. And we were doing that, and one day the girl came in. Let's call her let's call her Buki. Okay, so Buki came into the court that day to the office, and she was like, and her father was there with her. And we're like, what happened? Because of our job, wants the accused person or the defendant to be taken to jail. So we prep the child in question, the affected child, to tell her what to say, not necessarily telling her to lie, but telling her how to share a story in a way that is going to be very, very acceptable to everyone and the court, especially the judge, so they can nail the person who has committed the offense allegedly. Are we still following my story? Please, when I was speaking,
Yes.
I like you have to give me a lot of emojis. Everybody online, we have to participate. That's it.
Yes,
Let it
please.
yes. As I know that you're still there. So when the girl began to narrate a story, she said that one day, she was going to take an eraser from a friend, call it like cleaner. When you finish writing pencil and you clean. And if you grew up in an African country like mine, we're very communal. So somebody can be living here and your family members are in the next house, your friends are there, you go to collect things, go to just live communally. So she was going to collect that cleaner from a friend. And she had been going, that was not her first time. So that particular day, on our way to the place, a man who was pushing trucks. We also have that in Nigeria where people do their own waste collection by themselves. So this man who collects waste took her into the bush and thoroughly molested her. You know, he cut through from a vagina to her anus, like that's how bad it was. He had her suck his penis, made her swallow sperm, did the same thing to her on the other side as well. And when this child would come to the court to share her story, she would cry. Her father would cry. Everyone would be crying. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? There was nothing like sexual support for her. Nothing was being done. She kept sharing that story every day. And she'll come today and they'll say, oh, the court is not sitting. Tomorrow, the accused person or the defendant doesn't have a lawyer, so we can't go ahead. And different stories. So the matter had gone on for 3 years by the time I was done with NYSC, and we had made no headway, right? So what that means is that for that girl, trying to get justice for child sexual abuse was almost a mirage. And I don't know where the case is now. She might never get that justice that she rightly deserves, right? And what is justice in that case? Is justice that the person that committed the crime allegedly is taken to prison? I mean, that doesn't change what has happened to the child. So why do we take child safeguarding, child protection very seriously? Is because there's no way Buki, that girl, can erase that memory of what happened to her that day from her mind. So I thought to myself, if enforcement, if the court system, in court, just wherever it is, whether it's in the USA or in the UK, no justice system can erase the effect of abuse on the child. And that's why I told myself, you know what? I think I want to decamp. Like our politicians decamp in Africa. I want to decamp. I want to leave the side of enforcement, the side of saying take him to jail, take him to jail. I want to move to the side of you know, let us ensure that this does not happen to a child in the first place. So if you've been wondering why am I even in this particular academy, why did I come for this course? Oh, you have not been taking it seriously the way you should. Understand that you could just be saving a life. And this work that you're here to do and this thing that you're here to learn is very, very important. It is life saving. It is how you ensure that a child is able to live a full and complete life. So I decided that you know what, I'm going to leave the side of trying to get people to jail. I'm going to come to the side of trying to ensure that children are not abused sexually in the first place. And that's how I became a child protection, child safeguarding person. And I've been doing this now for 8 years now this year. So when I say I'm lawyer for close to 10 decades, it was not me trying to blow my tooth. I've been doing this for quite a while. And in this journey, I've seen a lot of things as an advocate, as a practitioner, as a response person. A lot goes into being an advocate. And if before, as I said before, you're not sure why you're here, understand that this is a cause that is worthy of being pursued. So if you're with me and we're together and we're taking this with ultimate seriousness, can I see those thumbs up, please? Can I see those thumbs up? Can I see those emojis? Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can see more. I know there are many of us on this call. And please, if you have questions, drop them in between. I don't want to wait to the end for ask my question for you ask questions because we don't have time. All right. So let's go to the next slide if it's okay. Okay.
Yes,
So
please.
who is a child? And that's my first question here. Who is a child? For everybody on the call, I asked for a reason. Who is a child? Please drop it in the comments. Who is a child? Who do you think a child is? Because don't forget about doing child's body safety advocacy. So we have to understand which child. And I know that you're already doing a course, so you probably know all these things already. But I still don't want to make assumptions, right? So anyone less than the age of 18, anyone below 17, I always get this. I always get different answers every time. A person below the age of 18, let's have more, let's have more, let's have more. And I know also that we're from different countries, different jurisdictions. And some things may differ, but let's see what answers we come with. I think we have somebody says a child is anyone between 0 to 18. That means an 18-year-old person is a child. Oh, what you're saying, Mary. Thank you so much for the answers. I love the engagement already. This is kind of card I like when they're answering. They immediately love it. Love to see it. Great. Okay, anyone who can speak for themselves. Oh, some adults cannot speak for themselves because of vulnerability. That will not make them a child. And when people says anyone below the age of 18, if we were to take a majority vote, that would be the vote. But what makes a child anyone below the age of 18? What is abuse? Now, the first thing that you must know as an advocate is that everything has a legal implication. What constitutes sexual abuse for a child is not based on your opinion. It's not that I feel like, oh, if I go to the next slide, please. It's not like I feel like, oh, this particular child, she looks like a child, therefore she should not be molested, or it's just on culture. No, everything rises and falls on laws. Laws are what makes that's what causes abuse abuse. If not, abuse will not be abuse. If there's no law that calls something abuse, it's not the abuse. So sexual abuse are founded on laws. So if you be an effective advocate, you have to know the laws that guide the conversations in your state, in your country, wherever you're joining us from. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay.
What can
So
you
if
see? Sorry, I'm not sure what
I can
people.
see who is a child.
Oh, oh, so
Okay,
sorry.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. No. Let's even go back. I've gone further. I see that you are at why should we advocate? Let's go back to here. We're in the right place now. Who a child is. So if you look at my slide, you will see that I get my basis of saying that a child is anybody below the age of 18 from the United Nations Convention on Rights of Children. As a matter of fact, this particular law is one of the most ratified law in the world. A lot of countries have ratified this law, including Nigeria, including many African states. Now, this is the age of a child. However, the age of consent sometimes differ. For example, in the USA, in some states in the USA, you have places where a 16-year-old child can give consent to sex, right? 17-year-old in some jurisdiction. In some countries, it differs. So if a 17-year-old, why is this important? As I said before, they have legal and consensual implications. So as an advocate, you hear news on TV, oh, a particular child was molested. I remember I was on News Central TV recently talking about the molestation of a boy child in Lagos, Nigeria, who had been sodomized by allegedly by an hotel owner. And somebody was like, oh, but that's a boy, that's boy to boy. Oh, he's 17, he's no longer a child, now a teenager. Like, on what basis do you see all of that? So your response to any case you see will be dependent on what you know. It's to say they can't see the slides. She didn't do. I can see
You
it from
can't?
here.
Oh, really?
You can't see it. But please, yes, just follow the conversation. I'm sure Children will solve it. I design my slides in a way that if I don't have them, I can present. They are just a tool. We can have
Can
conversation.
everyone see now?
Somebody says they can see it. Chilembo, I hope I'm pronouncing that well so she can see the slide. Okay, so please, everyone, do me a
Okay, they
favor
can see
after
the
this.
slide. I believe they can see. They
Yes,
said they can see the
great,
slide.
great, great. So after this session, go and find out in your particular country what obtains in terms of age of consent. That's what helps you say, oh, this child has been abused, this child has been molested, and we cannot begin to seek whatever form of redress for them. Are we still together? If we're together, please can I see those emojis again? If that's clear, please put them up. Thank you. So sexual abuse is legal based. It's not by your opinion, it's not by our emotions, it's not by our sentiments. Is that in your state, in your country? That's why in some places in Nigeria, for example, in Kaduna to be specific, a 16-year-old child can be married to a man and can have sexual intercourse. And that is an exception to child sexual abuse. It's an issue. For me, I always tell myself that are we actually in some ways legalizing sexual abuse? Yes. Thank you for saying that, Luciana. She said in her state it's 16. So this is a very, very critical part because you don't want to go out. One thing you don't want to do as an advocate is go out and be saying things that are not correct. We lose credibility, right? So we get all these facts very, very, very correctly, right? As I was saying in Kaduna, so there's a child's right law. It took many years to accredit that law. Eventually, we get the law in, and then there's a caveat that says that nobody shall wrongfully um sexually molest a child except when that child is married to a man and it happened in the course of marriage. So in Kaduna, child marriage is an exception to child sexual abuse, right? So that's what I want you guys to know. It's very, very important. And age of consent, because a child cannot give consent to sex, especially when the law says that. So people have come and said, oh, but the child was naked. She came into my room. She was the one that came on to me. All these kind of stories. A child cannot give consent to sex. When a child says, in quotes, yes to sex, the child is still saying what? Anyone? The child is still saying I need an answer. Everyone. So you can go to the next slide. When the child is saying yes, in quotes, the child is still saying no. Thank you so much. If you hear me, that's what I wanted to hear. Is no. It's always no when it comes from a child. A child cannot. It's different from the fact that a child did not. A child cannot give consent to sex. Why? Because the law says so. And the child has no capacity for sexual intercourse. What about if it's between a child and a child? It's still abuse on each other. A child cannot. It's like the law does not understand consent and a child in the same conversation, especially based on the age that the law has prescribed. Okay, so now why should we advocate and protect our children from sexual abuse? Go to the next slide. Why is it important? Why is it important? Anybody share with us your own thoughts? This what I'm just sharing here is an addition to what we already know. I mean, there are many write-ups on this talk about the negative impact on the child, the emotional issues, many things like that. I want you to share from your perspective. What are the things that make it important for us to advocate for children and their body safety and advocate against their sexual abuse? Anybody, please drop in the comments. I told you that we're going to be having a conversation today. And I say 40 of us on the call already. So beautiful, let's have these conversations. Why is it important? Why are we even talking about protecting children from sexual abuse? Why are we thinking it's important to talk about their body safety? Anybody? Okay, want to speak? Okay, so I've seen the responses already. Somebody says because they are vulnerable. Also, it's because they are still growing and developing. I see ants, or we can let them speak if they want to, please. Free. It says it ruins their life if they are abused. I like that so much because they have not reached the age of discretion of taking decisions for themselves. I like that. All our answers are valid. Very, very, very valid. I see one that I wanted to highlight again. Let me go to my chat. Somebody says it ruined their lives. That's very profound. It does. Somebody says that the impact of abuse is eternal, except a person gets help. And help doesn't take away the impact. It just makes them cope. Somebody says for healthy growth. The hands are raised. Please, Chilembo, you can speak. Go ahead and speak.
Thank you so much. Greetings, everyone. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, clearly. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Yes.
When we look at child sexual abuse, while it can happen to one child, for example, it is a societal problem, and it goes on to affect more people than just the one person that has experienced it. For example, in Zambia, we have quite a big problem with child sexual abuse currently, and you'd find that the child that has been abused, for example, is also being infected with sexually transmitted diseases, sexually transmitted infections. And this child is being defiled, for example, at the age of 3, and will later on then discover the long-term implications of what happened to her when she was young. It also has really huge psychosocial and psychological effects on the person who has experienced it, as well as even physical, like the story that you shared where she was raped to a point where from her vagina to her, I don't know if I can use these words on this live, and from the front to the back, she was completely destroyed. So it is quite a horrible pandemic, and it doesn't just affect the person who has experienced it, but even the people in the community, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. I think you have spoken very well, Chemo. And you notice that a lot of these things, I see somebody in the comments as well, I can't remember the name, saying that in Liberia, children of 16 are allowed to allowed to get married. And for me, that's why I said I'm happy that we're having this at scale. So there are 40 of us right now on this call. There are many more of us registered for this program. We can begin to see how we can keep talking about these things now in our various jurisdictions so that these things can change. Other than just me speaking, all of us can be speaking about these things until those systemic issues are changed. because it just means that from the legal from your house of assembly or whatever legal house that you have, they've already legalized sexual abuse, and it's a big issue, really. It's a big issue. So as Chilembo says, it has a lot of adverse effects. And the one of the reasons why we must protect children is that, see, children are persons. They are not minors, as our law calls them. They are major full people. As a matter of fact, I saw last week that children, for example, in Nigeria, make up 50% of the population. So how can you treat half of the population like they do not matter? They are persons and they have worth. They can think, they can make decisions. That means they can become something. They can ideate, they can solve problems. And when there's a person that has capacity to create a lot of things, we have a duty to preserve that personhood. We have a duty to ensure that children grow into healthy adults, as somebody said before, for their healthy growth. So we can go to the next slide. So you can go to the next slide. So we have a duty to see that their personhood is preserved. In addition to all that we have said, what abuse does is that it dehumanizes the person, a child in this case. It takes away their humanity. That means it reduces them. It says, I checked the definition, you can look at it here. It says it makes somebody less human. So that means that what makes you an individual? A child is growing up and say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Have you seen children and their innocence and their joy? I'm this, I'm that, and I can become this, And there's a song in my language that says, Iya mi kò lè bẹ́, bàbá mi kò lè bẹ́, èmi nìkan ló lè bẹ́, which means that my father cannot jump, he cannot fly. Only me can fly. So the child will stay, on one very huge pavement and try to jump down because they are fearless, they are boundless, and they can do anything. That's who a child is. So when abuse comes in, it makes them less human. All of those sense of individuality that they have, their creative aspects, their personality, their compassion, their sensitivity is gone. What happens is that have you heard what know about Ted Bundy? Ted Bundy was somebody, I think, in the USA who molested known 30 women, known about 30 known. Now, when investigation went on, they said he must have abused at least 120 or more women. He will rape them and kill them. What happened is that when they began to check, they found out that he was hooked. He did an interview with I think Dobson before he died, before they hung him. Before he was electrocuted or something. I know he was given a death sentence. But before he died, he granted an interview. Yes, thank you, Chilembo. He was a serial rapist. He said that it was a result of child abuse. He was abused as a child. He watched pornography. He was introduced to a lot of things as a child. So what happens is that he lost sensitivity. He lost his compassion. So for some children, they lost their compassion. For some of them, they lost all the things that make them creative, individual, and interesting. Right. So that's why we must advocate for abuse. And also, we must do it because they are persons. That's why we must also involve them in the advocacy journey. And we'll see that as we go on, we must involve children in the advocacy journey because they are persons and they can think through things. Many times in the part of the world, we are very protective. We're like, oh, this is a child. She does not know anything. Let's not bother them with all this information. Let's give them little things that they can know. They are not developed yet. No, a child is a full-fledged person. They can think. And that's why, number one, they should be protected. Number two, that's why we should also include them in our advocacy. Are we still together? Am I making sense? Are we learning something?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. I am seeing those thumbs up. I love them. And I love the engagement in the comment section as well. So everybody on the call, please check the comment from time to time. Even things I'm not saying, people are saying this in the comments. So check. All right, so how do we effectively advocate and protect children from abuse? I have points here and I'll explain them as we go on. Thank you so much, Maggie, for clapping. All right, next slide, please. How do we do that? All right. So I said here that it's our duty to protect children. Somebody said in the comments that children are vulnerable. Very correct. Even though sometimes vulnerability is not a God-given feature. Nobody was born vulnerable. Everybody was born equal. Vulnerability comes by societal standard. In a country or in a state where the rights of children are protected, no child will be vulnerable. Vulnerability comes because some children are underserved. Vulnerability comes because some parents are ignorant, some caregivers are ignorant. So no child is actually born to be vulnerable. Children are complete, as I said before. Vulnerability comes usually because of lack of coping mechanism, because of lack of resources, because of lack of doing the right thing by children. But yes, many of them are in a state of vulnerability right now. And because of that, as adults, we must take 100% full responsibility to protect children and protect their bodies from all form of abuse. However, no adult is capable of being with a child 24/7. I said, particularly at a certain age. One of my friends just had a baby. I was with her just a few days ago. We have to be with the child every time. Now, when there's no excuse that you cannot be with the child, we have to be with the child every time because the child can use a wrapper to cover her nose, something can happen. So, just 3 months. We have to be with the child steadily. But when a child becomes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they begin to go to school. They'll go to the restroom by themselves. You are not there. Thank you so much, Mary Rose, for repeating that. It comes from a lack of resources. Thank you. Right. So no adults can keep those kind of children. Teenagers, you can't stay with them 24/7. They'll go for practice, they'll go to school, they'll go for different curricular activities, extracurricular activities. You can't be with them. So one of the decisions children can make is also to say no to sexual abuse. And that comes from, don't forget before, we said the child is a person in the previous life and they can make decisions. So children also can make decisions to say no to sexual abuse. I wish before I hope we're getting it. I hope it's getting clear. So
Yes.
even though as adults we have a full responsibility to protect children, however, as they grow up, that responsibility we don't have the opportunity to carry it out 24/7 because children also need to lead their lives. So what do we do in that situation? We empower them to make decisions. The next slide, please. So it's a collaborative effort between you and all the rings of protection. What is the ring of protection? The family, the community, the state, and the international community. I'm trying to run out of time. So we have a whole community, and all of us should be playing our part to protect children. So what happens is that one person drops the ball, maybe the government, for example, many states, many countries, the government drop the ball. I've had some cases that I've handled that I ask myself, I'm like, oh, should I just, and there's something they say, I became salon, like, should I just run away? Let us leave this profession. Let me give you a story. I was going to, a child was abused. She was impregnated by a guy in a community. And 15-year-old, she was pregnant, she was about to write a WAEC, that's the school living certificate, secondary school living. So I called, I made phone calls to government agencies. They said, oh, we can't come tonight. We can't come tonight. A child is in danger. The alleged person who impregnated her is a court member, allegedly had cutlasses. I called several phone numbers, they didn't answer. And afterwards, I said, okay, what am I going to do next? I waited the next morning. They eventually came, picked up the guy, police came. Okay, now let's take the matter to court. They said, oh, you have to give us so and so money, 15,000 naira. 15,000 naira. And how much is that in dollars? I mean, that's not a lot of money. And because of that, the matter was kept for how many days? Police said, we will not go. We're not moving any further. We can't take this to court. We don't have fuel to go to court. So I said, no, we're not going to pay you to buy fuel. We can't tell people to report cases of abuse, and you guys will do nothing about it. And you want them to keep reporting. That is government dropping the ball. Everybody has to play their role in this ring of protection. So what are the 4 rings again? Everybody, family. Please put in the comments if you can hear me. Family, community, state, and international community. I intend to write a LinkedIn post much later where I want to share some of the exportable child protection principles from Nigeria and from Africa. One of them is our community. We have a community. And even though sometimes community may not treat your children right, but community has a sense of we look out for one another. So I see a child in a compromised circumstance, I can call it out, I can report. That's community, right? So community is school, community is church, community is everywhere a child goes to. All right, thank you for people that are dropping it. That means you're following. So all of us have a collaborative effort to play to make sure that children are protected. So as an advocate, what do? You find out how can I reach all these 4 rings. You target your message to these 4 rings. So make sure that you can choose one actually. You may decide not to go for all of them because okay, you know what? For me, I want to target at family. Most of the times when I do my advocacy, I do it focused on families and communities, sometimes states. I've not done so much for international community, except when I'm doing documentation or content development. But some people, their work is strictly international community. I really love Africa. I want to explain to us from our perspective. We know these things. We have a culture. And many of us think that our culture, like this culture of silence, don't say anything, something happens, don't destroy the family. So I want to use our culture to address our culture. So I like family, I like community. So you can decide on what ring you want to speak to and talk about how they can play their role in ensuring that children are safe and they are free from all forms of sexual abuse. So those are the 4 rings. I hope I've taken that. Let's go to the next slide, please. Are we learning something? If you're learning something, please give me those emojis. I see people clapping. Thank you. All right. So what are our roles now? What do you need to do? What do you need to do? Yes, you are in the right place. Please ask your question, Mazal. Mazal has his and Mazal, are you a musician? I see Mazal music. Please go ahead and speak. Mazal, please speak. Okay. Because of time, let's move on. So I said our role as adults and advocates. So I say adults and advocates because some of us may not be actively we may be parents. Like I saw that some of us that any program are parents. So if you're a parent, you're an adult in the child's life and have a role of protection, what do you do? Number one is vigilance. You see, sometimes there are adults in the life of a child that are there, but they're not really there. They are there, but they are not really there. That's what happens when a child, is in the house with the parents and a neighbor is molesting the child. So what happens is that the parent is seeing a pattern, or somebody is seeing a pattern, and they don't think much about it. They're not vigilant enough, or they see something that is off, and they say, "Oh, maybe not so, nothing is wrong." They're not asking questions. They're not probing. So your first role is what? Vigilance. If you're there, still put in comments for me. Put vigilance in the comments for me. You should be vigilant. You see, when I get into a room, I go there with a lens. I call it the protection lens. When I see a child, I can tell if the child is properly kept, properly catered for. If a child has been sexually abused, I can tell. Again, vigilance. We don't just sit and look at things like every other person. No. If you're an advocate, when you get into spaces where children are, when you are doing your programs, you are vigilant. You have enough adults to supervise. You don't just say, okay, let's gather 200 children, and you don't know who your volunteers are. You don't know whether they are molesters. You don't know whether they have had issue of abuse. No, it can't stop. You have to be very, very vigilant. You are checking. You are looking. You're asking questions. A child is walking in a way that is not normal. One day I was just in a vehicle and I saw a child come out of a vehicle, of a keke, call it keke in Nigeria, that's like a tricycle with an adult. And I said, this girl looks like has been sexually abused. And in the next 15 minutes, I saw a mother just running down from behind and said, oh, you this boy. And then it became a very big ruckus on the road. So apparently the guy had taken the child, from somewhere to go and have sexual intercourse with her, illicitly. And then the mother started shouting on the road there. So you can tell if you have one of the things they should do is that go and learn about the signs of abuse. A child becomes withdrawn. A child begins to walk in a way that is not normal. They're not working properly. What is going on? Is everything okay? Sometimes it may not be, it may be nothing. About the case where a mother said, oh, I think my husband is molesting my child. And we checked, it was not abuse. It was just it was a pamper, like a diaper, sorry. It was a diaper rash. Right? But she was vigilant and she knew something was off and she checked. But for some people, they may not know. Right? So another lesson there is that you don't accuse people wrongly. You take your consent, you take it the right way, which we are going to get to. Number two is that you learn. You learn and learn and learn. You see, sometimes I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I'm hoping that nobody in this call will make such mistakes. I see advocates put things on social media, and I'm like, no, you didn't do any research. You didn't learn about these things. You're speaking from your emotions. Advocates are not emotional people. If you are emotional, you cause more harm to a child than you should. I'll give you an example of the case of a child that was sodomized recently in Lagos. Every social media platform, every news platform, they put the child's face and his father's face on there. And I ask myself, to what end? What are we trying to achieve with that? So you have to learn the right things, because that child will grow up 25 years later and say, oh, look at me. I look at my story. Everyone's social media. How do you even think the child feels? The thought of knowing that my face is all over the news is it may be more difficult for the child to handle than knowing that it was molested. It goes hand in hand. We have to learn the proper way to do things. Please do not do without learning. Take your time. Thank God we're here. I mean, we're here to learn, actually. So I should not belabor this. You guys are not the you don't know what I should be taking this my anger on it. I mean, you're already here to learn, but learn more. Don't stop here. Keep learning, keep checking your laws. If you're in Nigeria, for example, you should have your Child's Rights Act read from back to back. You want to advocate for children, you know what the law says. In whatever country you are, look for your child's rights laws, read them, know what it's saying, look for the principles that apply, look for what is the best practice, what are the policies, what are the new laws. For recently, I saw that we have a child-friendly version of the CRC, given to children around us. I saw one time UN I think a report on how to work with the media, how to handle children that have been abused. What do you do? Would you know how to give PFA? PFA is called psychosocial first aid. These are things that you can learn. So keep learning. Don't stop learning. That's your role as an advocate. Number one, you're vigilant. Number two, you learn. That's what you do as an advocate to be effective. Number three, you empower children. You empower children. And I'll go deeply into this much later. But one thing you must know is that we must teach children. There's another adage in my village. I'm a Yoruba girl, and my father used to deliberately teach us, our language. It says that you don't shave a man's head in his absence. That means that you cannot protect children without their involvement. You cannot be doing it on your own. So you have to involve children. And I'll show us about that much later. Now, the next one is building relationships with children within our care. What does this mean? This is a low-hanging fruit. One day I was in a salon, I was making my hair, and there were 5 women. And of all the 5 women, everybody had experienced one form of abuse or the other. I'm serious. All 5 women as children. One uncle in their house called her inside, touched her breast. One person did this, and none of them told their parents. Not one of them. So, and I said, just out of question, I said, why didn't you tell your parents? That particular story made me do a LinkedIn post where I wrote that building a relationship with your child is not just good parenting, it is your first stop at preventing child sexual abuse. Because when your child can tell you anything they are going through, you have already won 80% of the battle. When they can tell you that, oh, I don't like how this person is talking to me. They asked me this question. I was walking down the road one day like that, and somebody said this to me in school. My child said, what does this mean? They're just asking questions. And this applies to all advocates. Some of us, we have centers where we are working with children. Some of us have schools. Some of us are teachers. All of us would have a contact with a child. Learn to be gentle. Learn to be approachable. Learn to be the one that people can walk up to. Children can walk up to and say, this is what I'm going through. This is what somebody is doing to me. There's no reward for having this very strong person and they're like, hey. In this part of the world, people take pride. They say, I'm a disciplinarian. They are afraid of me. When I come in, they run away. Yeah, you are not doing any good to anybody. Nobody has ever achieved much. When in fact, if you look at when we're growing up, you see that most of the children that fall for teenage pregnancy are the ones where their parents were very, very, very strict, and then they begin to find love in the wrong places, and then they get into wrong situations. So build relationships. I'm not saying people say be friends or be friendly. I choose be friendly. Be friendly with children. No, you don't have to be their friends. There's no rule that says so. There's no law that says you have to be friends with every child. But you can be friendly. You can be warm and approachable so that they can tell you things. I've had not in the past two, I can't count. I just see a chat on my phone, a young person I've maybe taught somewhere, spoken to someone and say, oh, Miss BC, this is what I'm going through. One of them was going to commit suicide and sent me a message. I'm like, this person taught me worthy to tell me this. And we could help. You cannot help children that you do not know. Cannot help children that you do not have a relationship with. That is if you have direct contact with children, build a relationship. Don't be eye of them. Learn about them. Learn their language. Learn what they are saying. I saw a post recently tell us what different emojis mean. Children are saying that they will be speaking things to your parents are there. You think they're not saying what you think they're saying. They're saying something different. It is of great importance to learn of children and to learn of them. I see my time. It's 6:49. Let's move ahead. All right. So another way to be effective is that you can speak up in the face of difficulty and unsafe circumstances. Let me tell you, if you're an advocate, things will test you. People will call you and say, you know what, this man is my family member. Can we just let him go? You see somebody call a young child my wife. I see that a lot in my community when I was growing up. When I say, you see a 10-year-old girl say my wife, that's a 35-year-old man. I'm like, sir, she's son is not your wife, sir. You be wondering what is your business. One day I went to Domino's Pizza to buy pizza and ice cream, and they were playing a lewd content on TV. And I went to meet them. I said, please, who is the manager here? They're like, what was your business? Who are you? I said, you can't play this. Look at children all over the place buying ice cream, and you're playing people doing like this to achieve what? You have to be ready to speak up in the face of, because you must contend for our children with tact. Sometimes you have to be careful. Sometimes you have to say it later. Sometimes you don't want to put the child in further danger by speaking up at that time. So you look at it, always risk assess before you speak up. Risk assess. Sometimes, I say this with all sorts of carefulness. Silence is better when you will keep a child safe. Silence may be better, not is, may be better. Sometimes, at least temporary silence. And when I mean silence, I'm not saying don't fight. I'm not saying don't check, but check. With this child, maybe if I come back tomorrow, after I've gone to go and shout, will child still be here? Maybe they would have taken me to another place. That happened to me before when I first started, when I was having ginger. I was very passionate. Like, whoa, why? So I learned that, no, they don't do that. Sometimes I'll just go and report, anonymously. They don't know who said it. Nobody knows that I've gone to report. I want to say, I'm going to report you. You will know what can do to a child. No. Because before you do that, before the space of reporting and response, the child is gone. The child has been taken away. You don't even get a chance to do what you're supposed to do. So there's tact, there's wisdom. But always learn to speak up. You see somebody touching a child in the wrong way, say, oh no, don't do that. The child is not comfortable. Don't do that. That's not the right way to touch a child. I think you should leave her alone. I think you should give her some space. You can say that. That's how to speak up in the face of difficult circumstances. See, a lot of people know child abuse. A lot of people know how to handle it. But a lot of people do not have the fortitude. That is the what do we call it now? There's the skill, there's the knowledge, and there's the attitude. Yes, that's that thing that makes you stand and say, even though it is hard, I will see this through. I've been there many times. It's hard. Sometimes that's cost me my last penny. I've had to rent a house for a mother of a child whose case I handled, because now it has become an issue. She can no longer stay in her community. Government was not doing anything. I had to crowdfund. All my friends, we gathered money. We rented a house for her, sent the child to school. So it is difficult. At the same time, it's possible. We're not doing this for the fame, for the applause. We're doing it because we understand that lives are involved, right? So use every opportunity. Don't wait in your now. My friends, they know me. Everybody, I'm going to say, "Hey, Mama, child protection, Mama, safeguarding." Some of us we wait for the biggest platforms. No, all my friends, they know. Even the ones that are not giving birth to children yet, I'm telling them this is what you do. Don't keep this out, so that use every opportunity in your church, around you, your family. Don't wait till you have the biggest platform. Talk about it. As anybody that knows me knows that's what I stand for. Uses yes. We'll get there. I like this point you just made about good and bad touch. So I want to move from this slide. I know you can read it. So let's move on because of time. All right, let's continue. Let's move to the next one. How do you talk to children about this? I said some children are very difficult to be abused. And let me tell us a very quick story. A child in a school was asked by a teacher that, "Oh, are you a virgin?" That's what the man asked her. And she went home and said, first of all said, "Sir, why are you asking that question? Is that part of our reproductive health science? Is that biology? Is that agricultural science? What is the base of that question?" And then she went home and told her mother that this is what my teacher asked me in school. And they went to the school. I went to find out. And that child was the 16th child that was about to be molested in the school, was a boarding school. So because the child spoke up, that child was a child difficult to be abused. Next slide. So we can have children that cannot be abused because of how we would empower them. So we must empower them. Next slide, please. We must empower them, we must engage them. How do you empower them? To play their role, to know what to say. Any advocacy without children, let's go to the next slide, please. Without children will not be effective. So you can empower them. So that child now from our house has been taught confidence, has been taught relationship, right? So we must give them age appropriate, correct, contextual, and complete information. Somebody said good touch, bad touch. Good touch, bad touch, I've done a post on this, is one of the approaches I find to be incomplete a little bit. And I'll explain why I say so. Because what is good and what is bad? A touch on my head may be bad, actually, and people will call it good touch. A touch on my shoulders could be bad. Many times, an abuser touches a shoulder, and she says, "Oh, the child did not say anything." It moves to the breast. Oh, that means she's fine with it. Touches the head. People rub people's head sexually. Right. So when we go to good touch, bad touch, I don't think it's very complicated. I'm going to show us what I think we should talk to children about as we go on. So it has to be age appropriate. What you tell a 2-year-old is not what you tell a teenager. Now, for teenagers, we speak more from a value-based point of view, right? For children that are 2 years old and 3 years old, we go full on with protection. Full on with protection. You are supervising, you are vigilant. Because what happens is that you can only tell the child, "Tell me when somebody does this to you." At that stage, when somebody touches them, they would already have done the abuse. So a 2-year-old child comes to tell you that, "Oh, my auntie touched my something, or somebody touched me this." Abuse has already occurred. So we have to, for children in that age, the bulk of the work lies with adults, really. That's the truth. But we can still tell them some things about their bodies, call it the right names so that they can know exactly what to tell you when things happen. Don't call it, they call breast and penis and all of this, they call it different names, anus, vagina. I have a niece that is 5 years old. From when she was 1 year old, we called her vagina for her a vagina. Oh, that's your vagina, that's your breast, that's your, call it the name like that they have for them at that age, because so that they can let you know if they feel discomfort in any part of their body all around. Tell them, "Oh, only mommy can do this to you. Only daddy can do this to you." At that age is more strict. Let's go to the next slide, please. At age of 2, age of 3 is very strict because at that age they cannot understand principles. Children, no, let's go back to the previous one. Children are very concrete learners. Up to age 11. All right, but from 2 and 3 is even much more concrete. If you say, "Don't do this," they are going that way. So for them, you teach them concretely, "Oh, only mommy can do this, only daddy can do this, only daddy can touch you here." For them, it's normal. But as they grow up, you have to increase the information you give them to have what we call situational awareness. They can know when, "Oh, okay, that's a doctor, that's my daddy, that's an uncle, but okay, I'm not comfortable with that, but this is this," and they can do that. So number one, you must tell the child how the abuser operates. I'll speak on this very quickly because of time. I see my phone ringing. Okay, so I think just a second, please. Okay, so as I was saying, what was I saying? How does the abuser think? Because of our time, abuser does four things. They profile the child. So that man that asked the child what are you a virgin? That was profiling. In order to check if the child was up for abuse, and the child, showed that she was not the right fit. After they profile, they want to see availability. Next, they groom. Grooming means to make a child comfortable with the idea of abuse. You begin to see some people call them, "Oh, my friend," but they show them attention. Sometimes they show them hatred to actually groom the child. So the child is trying to get in your good books, and then that's a way of grooming. Afterwards, they attack. After the child is comfortable with the idea of abuse, they attack. They do the actual act of abuse, which could be touching, which could be words, which could be full-on penetration. They all mean different things, and they all have different implications under the law. We don't have a lot of time to talk about all of that, but it could be defilement, it could be harassment, it could be assault. All of them have different punishments under the law. Now, lastly, they manipulate. After a person tries to profile the groom, they attack the child. Lastly, they manipulate. They say things like, "Oh, don't let me know that that's it. Thank you so much for that." You can show the slide. Thank you, Chinelo. They manipulate. They tell you can go to the next one, please. They say, "Oh, you're my wife, you're my husband. Whatever we do in secret, should be in secret." So I have just 3 more minutes. I like to tie this up. What can we do? What's possible? Can we have maybe 5 minutes to round up everything properly so I can end by 7:05? Is that possible? Everyone, I'm asking for permission to do that. I don't just keep racing and racing and racing and racing. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'll try to move faster. So let's go back to, so they do those four things. The profile, if you're there, please drop it in the comments. The profile, the groom, the attack, and the manipulate. Always same thing. Oh, if you don't tell anybody, yes. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next slide. Let's just move fast. I mean, every information is on the slide about what we should tell children. Oh, so let's look at the every participatory to me rules. This for me, I've done a lot of research on child body safety and what we should be telling children. I've checked a lot of UN books, different things, and I see that many of them are still very reactive. Talks about safe and unsafe touch, good and bad touch. That means that a child is already touched and they have to now report it. That touch already is abuse in itself. And we don't wait for we think of abuse and we think of penetration. That is not only issue about safety. Any form of touch on a child's sensitive organs, or a child that is uncomfortable, or a touch that a child considers to be of a sexual nature. Don't forget that touch is subjective. How a child feels about a touch is a child's prerogative. You can't tell the child how to feel about abuse. If a child says, "Oh, I feel uncomfortable about that. I feel how the touch was not good," that's something to look at. So what does every private part? Let's go to the next slide, please. What does this principle say? It says that every part of the child's body is private. I wrote this in a way that I can speak to children about. Maybe see I'm talking about the child. So I checked my letter of invitation properly, and I said that I was supposed to empower. What would I supposed to say to children? And thinking about it now, we could just share some of this part of this information with us, or what you can tell children practically. So you can let them know that they should keep their private space. From 5 years, from 6 years old, you understand there's something called arm's length. So nobody needs to come to you closer than arm's length because there's no need to, especially when they are not in a state where they should necessarily touch you. So tell the child that they should protect their private spaces over what we call private parts. A child is more likely to be safe. That child I told you a story at the beginning would have been safe if she understood that it is self-protection not to go to places alone, not to go through bush paths alone, not to follow somebody I don't know into the bush, or not to just, go without a parent's supervision in that context. That's situational awareness. But saying private parts, if you touch my private parts, I will tell. It's very limiting, right? Let's go to the next slide. So private spaces over private parts. Now, why should we tell children this? Number one, I said before, children are concrete learners. Penis, vagina, their inner thighs, their buttocks, those places are sexual organs. Now, they are private for the sake of covering, not for the sake of being able to be touched or otherwise. So privacy of the sexual organs, the buttocks, the penis, the inner thighs, the genitals, you call it private parts because they should be covered culturally and contextually. But the other parts are not public so that they can be easily touched. I don't know if you get what I'm saying now. Everybody, are we following? Well, I want us to understand this very carefully. So private parts is every child's body, from their head to their toe. That's their body, and they have a right to it. So you have to make sure that they have a right to give space to any form of intrusion to their private space, not just those genital parts of their body. Right, next slide. So children we shouldn't wait till something happens to them before they're able to make those corrects. I said before that if a child is touched on the back, on the face, stroked on the head, they may not complain because those are not what we call to them. Oh, those places that should not be touched, or bad touch. We say bad touch is a place where you touch your vagina, but even a bad touch can be a touch on the head, can be a touch on the neck. Do we get that now? So last one, please. An abuser, next slide, please. Abusers do not start from the vagina. They don't start from the breast. They start with words. They start with what we call safe touches. In fact, they've asked, that's our good touch, and they use that to get to the what we call the bad touch. So when should a child be touched? Teach children to be touched only when it is necessary, because there's no way that they will not be touched. I mean, a child has done well in school, a high five from a teacher. That's necessary to actually, affection is a need for a child. It's one of their major needs under their development and their survival rights. So affection is key. So I want to give a child a high five. That's very needed as a teacher. I want to give him a gentle pat on the back. Even sometimes I want to give a side up to a child that's done well within the bounds of reason. Not that you not keep the child for 20 minutes and say, oh, you have done well, you have done well. They'll ask you, are you an orgasser or are you a teacher? They will question your intentions. So for cautious affection, so those examples I gave are cautious affection examples. Care means that, for example, if a 2-year-old child is in a school, the teacher will need to clean up that child. That's care. A doctor will need to check a child, whether 15 or 16. That's care. A mother will need to bathe a child that's 5 years old. A father will need to bathe a child that's 5 years old. But when a child is 10 years old, and oh, thank you so much, Ari. I apologize for being fast. I'm just trying to rush. I don't have a lot of time. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to go slower now. I have just 2 minutes, but I want to just stay here, explain this, and then we can close from here, because that's really the most important part of this conversation, is that for a 10-year-old child, beating that child may not be necessary by any uncle, by any auntie. If a 10-year-old child does not need to put on the lap, that's why I said that this is age appropriate and it's situational. That's why we cannot give a blanket rule to these things, right? But an uncle can say, okay, you know what, I want to hug a child. The child says, no, I don't want to be hugged. Right, let's go to the next slide. Let's just go to the slides. So as I said before, cautious affection and care. Cautious affection and care. Please, let's go to the next one, please. So this is what you should teach. Every part is private to you. Every part is private to you, and you can say no to being touched anywhere. A child can say no to being touched anywhere. Next slide. They should have their own space, and they should keep steps between people. I'll give you all these things so you can look at what you can tell children. I wrote it in a way that you can actually speak to a child directly. You can take this and actually use it to talk to a child. Sometimes touching is okay and necessary to show you care and affection. Like when a family member gives you a gentle hug, the child gives you a fist bump, when a doctor needs to check you. But remember, even if you feel comfortable, you can say no. Even then, that's more situational. I like a straight answer to that. It is very inappropriate. A child is not a wife. A child is not a husband. Many times it is ignorance or it is grooming. And whichever the case, it is wrong. So you can also practice with your child. Give them various examples of when a touch, is necessary or not. You say, oh, mom, that was not necessary. And those scenarios will drive those examples on. Next slide, please. So if they ever feel unsure or scared about any touch or at any part, they should always speak up and talk to somebody. So this example I gave is what you can talk to or discuss with a child that is around the ages of 5 to 6 about their bodies. Give them this simple understanding of the fact that, okay, all your body is yours. You can say no. But sometimes, for some reasons of care and affection, somebody may want to touch you. And this is those instances. Go through examples with them. That's how to teach people principles and the ideas behind something. And also, as advocates, we have to respect children's privacy. You don't just, open the door when a child is bathing, they're in the toilets, they're somewhere, or they say it's okay and keep tickling them. No, you respect their body, first of all. Then you show them that other people should also respect your body. Next slide, let's see if there's something that we still need to touch there. All right, so as I said before, we should also teach children to always speak up at any site of uncomfortability. There's a word like that. They shouldn't wait till things happen. They should always be proactive. So every part of a child is private to them. Let's go to the very last slide. Let's do a quick knowledge check before we close. So as I said before, I will share some parts of this so that we can look at them before we go. Last slide. Yeah, very last. The one before. Okay, no. Before this one. Sorry. Before this one. So sorry. Thank you for so much for helping me with this. I've been going back and forth. So this is the last slide. We'll take like a few of the questions. Just put true or false in the comments. T for true, false for false. I know that I wish I had more time. There's a lot to say. See me rushing and running. But, I think we made the best of the situation. So only parents should protect children, true or false? Quickly, T or F in the comments. A child's private parts are only sexual organs and they are the only parts that should be protected, true or false? Quickly. It is necessary I like that. Somebody's putting numbers. Put numbers. Put number one and number two so I can know when you're answering. Yes. Oh, my camera is on. Okay, number three. It is necessary for a teacher to make physical contact with the child sometimes. True or false? Number three, true or false? It is necessary for a teacher to make physical contact. You guys are so fantastic. I like your interaction. Very, very fantastic. So I didn't speak about number four, so I will not ask that question. But strangers are people that we don't know their values, not just people that we don't know. You can know somebody, see them around, and you don't know what they stand for. That's still a stranger. And children should be able to know that. Number five, only private parts will be protected. True or false? Number five, true or false? False, that's good. Number six, abusers are usually mean to children. I would like to say answer number six. Number six, abusers are all usually mean to children. Number six, is that true or false? Okay. Number seven, a doctor's check is a necessary touch for a child. True or false? I see our answers, and I think we're doing well so far. Yes, very false. Abusers are not usually mean to children. In fact, they are usually very nice to get a child to be comfortable. That's grooming. Number seven is a doctor's check necessary for a child. Yes, that's very. Oh, you guys are wonderful. You learn this thing well. Because I'm always careful not to convince people with this my every part private to make philosophy, but you guys got it very correctly. Number eight, a teacher helping a 10-year-old child to clean up in the school is a necessary touch. True or false? Number eight, true or false? Very false. Thank you. Number nine, a neighbor helping a child when he's about to fall, though his hand touched his buttocks, is a necessary touch. True or false? Number nine, true or false? You guys are fantastic. All correct answers so far. Nine, that's true. Is that true or false? True. Yes. True. Thank you. That's for care. We're trying to show the child care. And we cannot say because showing the child care is abusing the child. No. You guys got this very perfectly. Number 10, we need to do our best to always be with children, and that should be enough to keep them safe. Is that true? Number 10, is that true? Is that true or is that false? Oh, okay. We should do our best, but that is not enough to keep them safe. Number 10 is false. The best way is that we should keep them informed about how they can play their role in their safety. And I'm going to end with that and say thank you. You guys have a wonderful evening. I enjoyed this very thoroughly. Thank you so much, everybody. I hand over back to you, Chimbimju.
Please, can we celebrate our speaker in the comment? Like, please, in the comments with your emojis, everybody, please celebrate her. I learned a lot. Like, if you were seeing me, you were seeing me like writing and doing my things. I'm like, I never thought about it this way. Anyway, I'm so glad we're almost 50 people here. That's not up to half of the people, but it's fine. You guys are doing amazing. I'm excited. Just two things I learned. Advocates are not emotional people. Hey, I was very excited about that. And another thing I learned is you can't protect children without their involvement. Like literally every part of this teaching was a hit. It was very, very, very helpful. I don't know if you have any question. Thank you so much, Afolabi. We are out of time. We're 9 minutes out of time, but I'm going to take questions from 3 people that are going to indicate. The first people to raise their hands. Okay, we have 2 people already. Okay, okay. We have that's all. Those 4 people are the ones we are going to take. Those 4 that are Egwamio. Someone has added. Okay, 5 finish. No, guys. Okay, so James on mute, and you can ask your question. James Gilpley.
Oh,
Yes,
it's 2 hours long.
You have like 10 seconds to ask your question. If we call your name and you're not talking, we move on to the next person.
Thank you very much. I'm James Triple. I communicate to you from Liberia, Monrovia. I want to say thanks to the barrister for the educative information. What I want to ask is that what happens in my community if I see a child who is at the age of 12? Some people in our tradition, based on tradition, child at the age of 12 are married. When I am a child at age, what would be my role in order to discourage such marriage?
Okay, so do you answer now or wait for every question to come in?
Okay, let's get out the questions and let's see. Okay. So quickly, Chilembo, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. To begin with, I really wish this was 2 hours long. I'm not satisfied. I need more. But my question is in line with, I loved the part where you said that advocacy should be more preventive as opposed to responsive. Yeah. But in Zambia right now, we have a huge problem of fathers defiling. I don't know if the word defiling is appropriate, but they are raping their children. So how exactly can we look at advocacy towards looking at the four rings towards family? How do we look at advocacy towards family when we are advocating for children to speak up against their fathers? Because now we've got a cultural barrier, a family barrier. Families don't want to protect the child. Families don't want to lose livelihood if the man is the provider and so on. So how exactly can we look at advocacy in such a scenario? Thank you.
Okay. So
Don't worry, I will help post your LinkedIn on the page. Don't worry.
okay, I was looking for the LinkedIn actually. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you so much for that. You can be noting the questions. Let them
Yes,
notice.
yes,
Taiwo,
yes.
you have the floor, please.
I can't hear this person properly.
Taiwo, we can't hear you talking. Can you be a bit more audible? Or if we can't hear you, it's a bit hazy. Can you type in the comment section instead? Yes, just type in the comment section. Over to you, Mary Rose Ude Ubaka. You have the floor.
Okay, Mary Rose here. Can you all hear me, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm a teacher, and sometimes we have these scenarios in class. I teach 2 to 3 years, and I may just get a call from my children saying, "Oh, Miss Rosie, this person kissed this person touched this person." So I don't know. There are ways I've always tried to salvage the matter, but I would like to know the appropriate way to actually talk to them about this. Yeah.
How old are these children?
Okay, so between 2 to 3 years old. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. So I think those are all the questions, right? Just correct something, Chim, but you
Oh,
were
no,
right
that's
when you
not
said
all.
okay, that's not all. Please go ahead. I've
Yes.
noted that.
We have Lucene. Lucene, please, you have the floor. Lucene, are you there? Your hand is up. Lucene Amara. Are you there? Okay. The person is not there. We have Ifemi Sulaha. Sorry if I'm
Oh, I
murdering your
love
name.
the way you. No, I love how you did not say Tulaga.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. This is an amazing time. So, please, I just want to ask something or just chip in something. We
Yes,
talk
please.
about teaching children about their body parts, and then
Mhm,
how the private parts are covered, and of course, all of their body parts are private to them, and then those
mhm,
parts should not be touched without consent. So we talked about, you briefly mentioned consent.
yeah,
And I don't want it, this is not from a religious place. But then
yeah.
when we say consent, and then we went ahead to now say children, we should teach children also what to do if they are touched inappropriately. And we're
Mhm,
talking about grooming as well.
mhm,
A child can be groomed to the point where they are giving consent, not because they want to, but because they have been groomed to that point. So if a
mhm.
child gives consent, does that mean that it is okay for the child to be touched? Does that mean
Okay.
that the child has does that mean that the child has requisite knowledge to agree?
Mm. Okay. Good
So
question.
I
Okay,
just want a bit of clarity with that.
thank you. Choma, I think Choma is the last person.
All right.
Choma
Hello.
Chinesom.
All right, hello, good
My voice is
evening.
not clear.
Oh, Lucene is here. Lucene, okay, you have 10 seconds quickly before Choma goes.
All right. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, we can.
All right. I'm actually grateful to be part of this workshop, and I extend appreciations to our presenter, our barrister. All right. My concern have to do with this. In our country now, I'm a child
Which
advocate
country are
in
you from? Sorry.
Liberia. I'm from Liberia. All right. So let's say have to do with dress code, right? Modesty. Most of the times
Mhm,
parents forget about something like that when it comes to dressing the child appropriately when it comes to their public engagement. So I don't know if I can speak to this during my advocacy especially when it comes to the dressing of the child, how well they can dress to go in public places, and when hello.
We
I'm
can hear
following.
you.
I can hear you. I
We
hear
can
you.
hear you. Listen.
So can I include that in my advocacy when it comes to the dress code? Because here we observe that people dress, exposing their body part, especially children, when going for social activities. So is it necessary to include this in our advocacy?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Choma, quickly, your time is up. Please, can you stop raising your hands? Choma, you're the last person on the queue. Taiwo, can you bring down your hands? Type your question in the comment section, unless you're okay. Taiwo has typed
Can you hear me?
the question. So the last person is
Hello,
Choma. Choma, you have the
okay.
floor. Quickly, please. 10 seconds.
Okay, can you hear me? Good evening.
Good evening. We can
Hello.
hear you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Please, my question is this. In a case where you observe an abuse, a child has been sexually abused, and the family is unwilling to go ahead with, let's say, pursuing the case, to report to authorities, do anything about it, especially maybe because the abuser is a family member, what are you supposed to do as an advocate? The child is abused. You are very certain there is an abuse going on. But the family says, no, no, we don't need your help. Leave us alone. What do you do?
Okay. Thank you so much, Choma. Afolabi, sorry, Olabisi,
Yeah.
thank you. Over to you. I think you can measure all the questions and try to address them. Some of the
Okay.
questions they ask, some of them they will meet in the remaining modules. But while they are
Yeah.
doing that, please go ahead and address as much as you can. Thank you.
Okay. So I think I see like a lot of these questions. All these questions, as you said, they are all modular questions. We could write a book about them. But I try to answer them as briefly as I can. So all the issues around father, family, for those ones, see, that's why advocacy cannot be one-sided. That's why we talk to the children, we talk to their mothers, talk to fathers, we talk to other family members. Once we are able to reach the culture or to breed that culture of silence, we're able to take it away. We won't have issues. Fathers keep doing that because they know that they would likely, some fathers, not all fathers, they're good fathers. Fathers think that they may get away with it. So if there's one, two, three persons that have been reported, they have been um, proper consequences. You see that other people would be deterred. But sometimes these things happen, and the mother maybe is keeping the information. The family members are saying, "Oh no, those scatter his family. It's the father of the child. Let's forgive. Let's move on." Those are how these things fester. So we go at advocacy at all angles, all angles. Speak to children directly. Let them know that this is wrong. This kind of touch, even and please, when I say that all parts of a child's body is private, it doesn't mean that we don't let them know that touch on their genitals are wrong. No, it's not excluding that. That is an inclusion. If you look at the stuff I was sharing, things I say you can tell to children, I'll just bring that further and share with you. You can let child know that touches, including on their private parts, including on their genitals in this context now, are wrong. So we let children know what is wrong so that they themselves, I've seen children who have reported their fathers, and you will let them know that okay, this is how we go about it, that you will be safe and all of those things. So fathers doing these things consistently is nothing that we can stop. I think people who abuse children are the ones that really have power to stop. I mean, but we can stop it, we can play our part by ensuring that every angle is touched. The churches are touched because sometimes church can say, okay, let's intervene. Sometimes the police can say, let's intervene. When all the angles in your community, don't stay in one place. Don't talk to only children and leave it there. Don't talk to only mothers and leave it there. Talk to everyone. So that one person in that house can say, no, I will stand and say that this thing is wrong because I've been taught, I'm aware of the impact of these things. Please, I don't even think that makes sense to us. So these things are part of the issues, fathers, family members, but we have to ensure that everybody is involved so that somebody can speak up and there can be justice or there can be response. Again, it's preventive. Before it even happens, as advocates, we have to start thinking, where do I want to start my intervention next? Where am I going next to go and create awareness? Before I even hear of a case of abuse, when you do that consistently, I can guarantee people have called me 4 years later in a community where I'm going to do advocacy that something happened here. So don't stop, don't be discouraged. Keep doing advocacy from all angles. Something will give. The child will be emboldened to speak up. family members will be embodied to speak up, and by so doing, we are reducing the menace of child abuse. And I hope that answered that question for the father's issue. Fathers are not different from other abusers. They should face uh, whatever consequences that they should face. They are not different from other abusers. Also, another one about child to child, a child kissing one another is a very, very good question. Because I had the case recently of I think a GSS3 student touching the penis of another child. Many in schools, for your children in your class, you should have a small 1 to 5 point document, talking points for them to say, oh no, we don't do that. For them, it could just be curiosity, it could just be play. They're 2 year olds, they're 3 year olds, they don't mean any harm. I can guarantee you that. A child of 2 or 3 don't mean any harm, but here they can be taught. But don't do that. Every time you need to correct them. Before they even start that day, you go to class and say, these are things that we don't do. We don't touch people there. We don't do this. You don't kiss somebody on the mouth. You can do that to your mom, but only your mom. And again, you involve the parents. Your PTA meetings, what we are discussing, the parents should be heavily involved at that age, at that level, so that they can also reinforce the message at home. So have a 5 point, talking point, very simple message for those children in your class and tell them at the start of every class, can you still hear me, please? Before class starts in the morning, let them know. Often let them know and carry their parents along as well. I hope that helps. So they don't mean any harm to their children, but they can still be taught and corrected as it should be. All right. So consent, if a child can give consent, I like that question that you asked. Sometimes children actually say yes to abuse because they've been groomed. But you already answered the question by saying that the child was groomed to a point where the child thinks it was okay. That is still abuse in itself. The child was abused and is now being blamed for being abused. Do you get that? So a child that says, oh yes, after I think it's normal, we are the adults. Adults are the adults that should give a child direction. If they're the ones that are now cashing on the child's naivety, then that's abuse. Because the child is 14 or 15 or 13, and you say, I love you, and this is how you show me that you love me back. The child has limited knowledge of life and everything around. We have better information. So the adult is the one that is always culpable. Even if a child says yes, it is still a no. Now, what we can do is that we let children know. Even though I said, teach children how abusers think. So that a child knows that when a person tells me this, he's grooming me. A child can be told all the symptoms of grooming. So that when she sees grooming or he sees grooming, he can say, oh, no, this is grooming. This is not right. I've been told that even when somebody tells me this, they are not being correct. They're trying to get me to be comfortable with abuse and they can flag it. So when a child is well taught, like that child I told you that we were asking if it was a virgin, she was well taught. She recognized um, um, abuse and grooming. She called it out. She didn't say, no, no, uncle, don't ask me that. She understood that this is a question that is inappropriate. So when we teach children well, they are able to identify grooming and stop it and nip it in the bud. So the answer to that is not to blame the child, is to teach children so they can know grooming and also understand that every time the child is abused, the abuser is always wrong because they groom the child and the child is the innocent victim in that circumstance. I don't know if that answered that question. Okay, let me see if there's another one that we need to talk about as well. Okay, thank you. Last one I'll talk about child marriage issues, and it's a very systemic one. So if you're in your community and you see child marriage, so a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, please be very, very careful. Don't put that child in further danger. I've seen cases where the child will be forcefully slept with to prove a point before the next day, and the child is even worse off. So our advocacy have to be systemic. That one is a very big policy issue. But what you can do is that you can create education. So you can show children example of what they can become without child marriage. You can show them what their lives can look like. You, as an advocate, get other advocates, get 25, have a calendar, bring people, women, girls that are successful, bring them to your community. Show those parents, show those community leaders what the child can become without child marriage. Little by little, they will something. Now, that's why we are pursuing government and policies, because policy is a big issue, right? So look at all the policy places in your country and support them with everything that you have. Because until a law is made, child marriage will continue in some of these locations. It still is legal until it's illegal. Now, for the part of the social behavioral aspect of it, you have to begin to show people what children can become and the impact negatively of child marriage. So when you do that often and often, first of all, the children will push back. They'll say, no, I want to go to school. Look at this social person, look at what she has become. Then the community leader will say, oh, that's true. Little by little, I've seen these things happen in some communities in Nigeria. By themselves, they say, let these girls go to school, right? Okay, so last one I will answer here now is on dress code. Please don't include that in your lecture. You can't tactfully talk about the need for us to teach children good values, which includes modesty, which includes valuing their body, but don't talk about cover your children. That's why they are being abused. No, it can be misunderstood. But you can speak to value system. How you treat your children, how you dress them, how you talk to them, how you present them, how they present themselves are all value issues. What you can just do is tell parents to inculcate positive values in their children, but you don't have the prerogative to tell parents exactly how that value should look like. It's a very dicey one. I personally think children should be, well dressed, appropriately modest. But what I consider modest, I know what you consider modest, and it's a very nuanced conversation. So you can encourage parents that they have a role to play in teaching their children right values, but don't mention specifically about dress code. The last one: if a family member is not willing to take a matter to court, they call it the want of diligent prosecution in court. That means the case will be struck out. So sometimes the police may say, we're not going ahead, because if I continue and the family is not willing to follow me up on this case, there's no case to answer. So again, it goes back to awareness. We have to make people understand that reporting a case does not make you a wicked person. The law taking its course does not make you a wicked person. You're just doing what you should do by law. I tell people, I said, it's not personal. I just want the law to take its course. Don't worry about it. Just leave it to the courts to handle the matter. Don't try to be wicked or be mean or be nice. Just leave it. Do you understand? So encourage people to understand that taking the matter to court does not make you wicked. It is you reducing the number of abusers in the community. I'll tell them, that this person can do on that child. So please, let's let the law take its course. You are not being wicked. It's not you that did this. It's the person that is wrong. In this part of the world, we that want to fight against the abusers, we're the ones that are in the defensive. Meanwhile, the abuser is the only person that is wrong. So we have to show people that you are not at fault for reporting an abuser. The abuser is the only person who is wrong. A thief is the thief, not the owner of property at every point in time. Do you understand? So again, it goes back to awareness. But if they say at all costs they are not willing, there's nothing you can do. You have to leave the matter, because without their involvement, the matter cannot go anywhere. In court, they will throw it out. So that's just the truth. That's the honest truth. How can you get close to people in law enforcement? I don't know if you get close to them, because when you get close to them, they tell you things like, let's settle this, make it. But you should know all the referral pathway in your country. Go to your community, go to police station, ask questions. Please, if there's abuse, many stations have gender desk, they have child protection desk. Just keep escalating. If you go to the police, they don't answer you, escalate. Keep calling until you get your answer. Keep looking for your answers. I call like there's no tomorrow. Everybody calling. But should you be close to them? I don't know. But should you know those you can talk to if you need something? Definitely. You should. I can call and say, oh, hello, I've done that before. I'm just calling to maintain a communication, just to introduce myself, so that if I have any case, can I call you? They say, yes, you can call. And that's enough, in our opinion. So let's stop here because of our time. As I said, there's a lot.
Thank you. Please, let's put our heads together again. Please celebrate Barrister Olabisi.
So before you continue, did they answer our questions, please? All the questions asked us. Please, drop it in the comment. Let me know the answers. And if I didn't, send me a LinkedIn message. I would respond to them for that.
Yes. Another beautiful thing we are giving you is access to all our speakers. Literally, when you're done, you can ask questions. And thank you so much for that access, Barrister Afolabi. Like the fact that you can actually message them and ask them questions that you have. I'm very excited they're giving you that access. So we're going to round off right now. Just a few announcements before we go. Once again, please celebrate Barrister Afolabi in the comment section. If you have any question, I'm going to do this for you. Go back to your module. Please don't forget to go to the module and comment. Everybody's supposed to share their lesson. This is part of the progress report. That's the only way we will know those who attended the live session or not. And remember that all the team members, we are going through the comments in the comment section, and these are parts of the what we are going to be doing in ensuring that you complete your program. Like I made an announcement earlier, we just decided in the team that we're going to be giving financial awards to people that complete their program. This was just a new thing that come up. Please celebrate the team now. Celebrate our directors for coming up with that initiative. And the essence of giving financial awards is so that I've had personal conversations. I see the passion some of you are coming with. How can I even do this thing? We want to enable you start off some of the projects and ideas you have in mind that may need money, right? But we cannot do that if we don't see how eager you are. And the only way we can see how passionate and eager you are is by finishing this thing that we have put together to ensure that you have the best. So please go ahead and finish your modules and meet us at the end. And by the way, another announcement I wanted to make is if you've not changed your name on your platform, go to your profile on your dashboard, go to the profile on your dashboard on the settings, change your name. Some of you are using your organization names, your school names. Change it to your name as you want it to appear on your certificate. We are not going to write Maryville Schools on your certificate. We're going to write your name on your certificate. Please ensure that you change your name. Go to your dashboard settings and change your name to how you want it to appear on your certificate. So I think that will be all for now. Ensure, first of all, you can continue your modules now. And then the concept note assignment. Right now, what you're going to see is how you should do your concept note. For the submission of that concept note assignment, we've moved it after module 4 so that you have some time. After you've done your module 3 and 4, if you've already submitted, you see that your assignment is still there. But if you have not submitted, take your time and do it till when you finish your module 4, then you submit your concept note assignment. Please, thank you so much. I want to hear the lessons you're getting from this. Go to our post on social media. Let me hear some of the comments that some of you learned from this. Some people didn't attend. Yes, please. So drop your comments on Dr. Barrister Afolabi's post she made on LinkedIn. Go there and tell her that, oh, I was part of your class and I enjoyed it. Go there and comment. I want to see our students on LinkedIn. Another thing, when I'm going to have the last live class, and I'm going to make all of you that don't have LinkedIn account, create LinkedIn account. You can't be an advocate and you're not taking advantage of social media. You cannot be an advocate. Maybe your advocacy is in your community. That's good. But I would encourage you. It's not by force. Let me not say you can be an advocate and not be on social media. But if you desire to, please create a LinkedIn account. We want to connect with you on LinkedIn. I don't know if any other person has any general academic question. If you have an academic question, just type it in the comment section. I'm going to, okay, our director wants to say something. Nenya, you have to go.
Wait, announcing me as this question, is there any meeting? When is the next live?
Oh yeah, our next speaker is going to be Wakas. Wakas is an amazing man. He's from Pakistan. He's my classmate, and he has an NGO in Pakistan that works with women and children as well. Guys, you don't want to miss his section. He's going to teach you how to create a community project, how to build a project from the scratch to the end. And that's why we wanted that class to happen before you finally submit your assignment, your concept notes. So I look forward to Wakas's class. He's my classmate here in the United States, and I've learned a lot from him personally. So he's one of the, I think he's doing a partnership program from Pakistan here in the United States, and it's going to be amazing, guys. Please don't miss that section. Same time, 6 p.m. West African time, which can be very depending on your country. So yes, do well to be in that class. All live sections are compulsory. And if you, for any reason, cannot attend, please watch the replay. Right? Yeah, someone said my concept note is already prepared. Thank you. Some people have submitted theirs. Your own is still there. It's just that we've moved it to after module 4. But if you've not submitted, take your time. You have till 29th, that's 7 days time to submit your concept notes. Is there any other question? I'm seeing in the comment section. Any other question? Mary, Olivia, William, if we have any other team member here. Anyone else that has anything to say? Good. Henry said I'll submit after class. You may not be able to submit if you've not done module 3 and 4. So go ahead and do module 3 and 4, then you submit your concept note. That's fine. So you have till 29th. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Please, team members, if I'm forgetting anything, please let me know in the comment section. Access to the slides. Yes, please. Barrister Afolabi in her very open, not everybody will give you their work. So you guys to say thank you in the comment section. She has actually given us access to her slides. So we're going to upload it as well. So go back to the live section and you can have access to the slides and learn more if you didn't attend. But then if you watch the video, actually, you can also see the slides. So do well to rewatch the video. So let's say thank you in the comment section. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chilembo, Michael, Enda, James. I see everyone. Somebody's name is name not available. Ah. Wow. Okay. Adeze Ogwanye. Olabisi said, thank you. The slides will be shared. The passion in the room is palpable. Thank you so much. Guys, we are excited. So excited. Olivia, thank you. Rita, Lasana, everyone is saying thank you. Access your courses and you'll understand what is a concept note. Thank you. Henry, some people are asking what is concept note. That means they've not gotten to the concept note assignment. If you access your module, you know what the concept note is. Thank you so much, everyone. I think we've exceeded our time by 36 minutes, but I guess it was worth it, right? Was it worth it? If it was worth it, please give us your whatever in the comment section. Let me see the love, let me see the celebration, and we're going to be ending it. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's get back to class, guys. Let's get back to class, guys. We still have a long way to go. And by the way, we will have two types of certificates: certificate of participation and certificate of completion. That does not mean you shouldn't complete your course, but if you get up to 70% of the course, we're going to acknowledge that you've done something, right? And we determine what the 70% is. So don't think 70% is that you did how many modules. 70% can also be the number of live classes. We, the team, decide what 70% is based on what the participation of the participants we see. We determine what the percentages are. So we will have two types of certificates: participation and completion. But I will encourage you to get the completion. Two things the completion gives you. It gives you an opportunity to become an ambassador in our organization for your country. Two, it gives you an opportunity to be part of the financial draw, the award, the finance award draw at the end of this program. We're going to give financial awards. And those are the two things that only participate and getting to the completion stage gives you an opportunity to participate in that. So, yes, someone said, I'm going to get my certificate of completion by God's grace. Amen. Amen. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Barrister Afolabi, we are ending this meeting. I don't know if you have any last words to say. If not, this is how we are ending it. Thank you, Ovie Moses, for that. I like that morale. That's the morale I need in this academy. If there is anybody you know that registered and the person has not started their course, please go and tell them. By the way, our monitoring and evaluation team is coming for everyone that registered for this course and has not started. We want you. We want you to be a part of this. We want you to finish up. I think I've spoken too much. Thank you so much, guys. Have an amazing weekend. See you in the classroom. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you in class. Bye. See you on WhatsApp. Let's go and make noise. Those that did not attend, go to the WhatsApp and make noise. Go and tell them how much they missed. Go. Go to the WhatsApp and tell them you missed. They should know they missed and go and rewatch. Go to the WhatsApp. Let's make them envious. Please go there. See you guys.
Jealous.
Yes, make them jealous. Yes, Henry said it's not about the financial services, but the experience is too much. Yes. If you know what has been put in this course, you will not miss it. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, team members, let's meet in the other room. See you guys. Then you can end the meeting.
Doing that.